Robert McCall lives a calm schedule life, doing a storekeeper's work at an equipment store in Boston. Apart from the work, he is additionally making a difference his associate Ralphie, to clear the test for a modern work as a security protect. Other than this, Robert does not have much of social life, and spends most of his time perusing books at a neighborhood eatery, where he regularly spots a youthful prostitute, Alina, pushing over her work. Robert steadily gets to be mindful of her battles, particularly after he observes her being constrained by her pimp, Slavy, to engage one of his clients against her will. After a couple of formal intelligent, one night, as he offers her a few nourishment, Alina reluctantly strolls to his table, but he benevolently invites her, and offers to have a situate with him. As they begin talking, both get to know each other, and Robert tells her approximately his book-reading side interest, which he received from his ex-wife. The assembly demonstrates to be an icebreaker, and they ended up companions. After they walk out of the eatery, and Alina says farewell to him, Robert witnesses her getting frightened by Slavy, who slaps her and coercively takes her with him. As Alina does not appear up for another few days, the eatery proprietor advises Robert that she is conceded to the ICU, after getting brutally beaten up by Slavy. He visits Alina within the clinic, where he spots another young lady, Mandy, by her side. Seeing her truly concerned around Alina, he questions her around her condition, to which Mandy reluctantly tells him almost Slavy's activities, as he frequently rebuffs the young ladies to keep them in line. Knowing that Slavy too undermined to slaughter Alina, Robert visits Slavy's club at night, and offers cash for her opportunity, but Slavy denies to require it, and indeed denies knowing Alina at all. Rankled, Robert picks up a battle, and slaughters all of his men in no time, and unobtrusively returning to his loft, taking off no verification of his inclusion. He resumes his work at the bazaar the another morning, where Ralphie advises him approximately inevitably making advance in his preparing. Afterward on, Robert listens the news approximately the killings, but learns that the police are faulting it on the intense war between matched bunches, and no one has any thought around the genuine executioner. Finding out approximately the occurrence, the club proprietor and a Russian mafia pioneer, Mr. Pushkin, sends in his moment in command, Teddy Renson, to examine the killings. After looking at the location, Teddy orders his men to discover the security footage, and in spite of the fact that annoyed of his controlling behavior, straight to the point aces, a police criminologist furtively working for Pushkin, concurs to assist him out. The following day, as Ralphie does not appear up at the work, Robert visits his family eatery, finding that a fire broke out and harmed most of the range. As Ralphie's mother is taking care of it alone, he offers assistance to clean up the mess. On the other hand, in spite of Frank's ask for him to be indulgent, Teddy meets Pushkin's accomplice, an Irish mobster John, and beats him to passing for not providing the security to their men. Straight to the point is additionally constrained to slaughter John's partners in crime, but afterward challenges against this uncalled battle, until Teddy uncovers it was a message from Pushkin, to guarantee his matchless quality over others. Proceeding his examinations, Teddy meets Mandy, inquiring in case she watched something abnormal in Slavy's behavior sometime recently his kill, or on the off chance that he had any adversaries, but she denies knowing anything around his open dealings. Whereas detailing to Pushkin that they did not find any clue, however, Teddy tells him, whoever slaughtered Slavy and his men, was idealized at his work, and cleared out no path behind him, which makes him inquisitive, as he considers the executioner must be a proficient. Learning this, Pushkin orders to discover the executioner at any fetched, and makes him case out of him, so no one challenges him once more. Meanwhile, two degenerate cops visit Ralphie's mother's eatery, and request she pay cash, uncovering they were the ones behind setting up the fire prior, after she denies to comply. When they come out of the eatery, getting the desired sum, Robert stops them and goes up against them about their activities, showing a recorded video as a bit of proof. As they begin deriding him for being uninformed of the results of mediation, Robert beats them up, and strengthens them to return the cash they took from distinctive individuals, something else he would spill the film to the media outlets. The pair inevitably return the money, empowering Ralphie to rejoin his work the next day. Teddy meets Mandy again, and strengthens her to uncover points of interest around Robert, and chokes her. In the interim, Ralphie inevitably gets to be the security protect, and considering Robert's bolster all through the method, pays his appreciation to him. Teddy finds Robert's photos through security film of the club, learning of his inclusion in slaughtering Slavy and his men. At Robert's work environment, there's a burglary occurrence. A burglar takes the cash as well as a ring from his associate Jenny, but Robert notes the points of interest, almost his appearance and his car. The same night, he once more takes the law into his hands, and recovers Jenny's ring, namelessly returning it to her. Teddy visits Robert's loft, imagining to be a police officer exploring Slavy's kill. He too questions him, almost Mandy, as well as inquires the reason behind him visiting that club on the night of the kill, but Robert fulfills him by saying he went there to meet a companion, but might not discover her. Robert observes him take off with straight-to-the-point experts, as Teddy communicates his doubt around him. Teddy begins running a foundation check on him, whereas Robert secures his loft, clearing out a wrong path as well as setting up the security cameras. Teddy sends his right hand to go up against Robert at the eatery, but once more, Robert rapidly takes him down inside seconds, as they observe from over the street. After closing the control, so no one can see him, Robert clears out the eatery, but takes pictures of Teddy and his men right before them, sometime recently strolling absent. As they chase him down, Robert assaults straight to the point experts, but saves his life after taking note his police identification. Attempting to discover him, Teddy along with his men strike Robert's flat and begin looking the put, whereas he observes them through the security cameras embedded all over around the house. As they stand there considering around the proof they found, Teddy learns around the setup, and orders his group to track him down at the most punctual. Robert meets his companion and previous colleague at the Insight's office, Susan, to inquire her almost Teddy. Talking to him after lunch, Susan's spouse tells him how she was disturbed after he faked his passing in and blast in his car, but they are upbeat to see him lively once more. Susan accumulates the data and educates Robert that Slavy and his men were the East Coast center for Pushkin's criminal operations. She tells him, Pushkin is included in all sorts of unlawful exercises from drugs to human trafficking, but no one can touch him as he has joins in each division. Agreeing to her, Teddy Renson's genuine title is Nikolai Yachenko, a previous prepared part of the Russian mystery police, but presently works as Pushkin's right hand, and upholds his run the show on the Russian mafia. Clarifying approximately his diverse cohorts counting straight to the point aces, Susan advises Robert to watch out, as she knows Teddy won't halt sometime recently murdering him. The following morning, Susan inquires Robert why he is so concerned around Elena, and is attempting to track down her abusers. In reaction, Robert tells her he was never that near to Elena, and is as it were following these hoodlums down since he is able of doing this, and considers it is his duty. Learning this, Susan realizes it's how he continuously needed to work, and that's why cleared out the constraint to bargain with things his own way. She considers that Robert continuously picks up the off-base ways of doing the correct thing, but she still underpins him after going by Susan. Robert breaks into Frank's house, and torments him to induce data approximately Pushkin and his unlawful exercises. In spite of the fact that Straight to the Point does not participate at first, but gives in after Robert tries to choke him in his possessed car. At his orders, Straight to the Point leads him to one of Pushkin's secret money laundering distribution centers. After presenting himself as the unused fellow from the police, on Pushkin's finance, Robert inquires the in-charge Andrei to exchange all the cash to someplace else, as their later area has been compromised, but Andrei does not accept him. Seeing him befuddled, Robert traps him and grabs his weapon within the flicker of an eye, holding him prisoner, and constraining him to comply with his orders. Afterward, he sends the specialists domestic, disseminating a few cash among them, and strengths Straight to the Point experts to call the police. After Robert reproves him for disrespecting his division, Straight to the Point uncovers he was a great cop, sometime recently getting included in this mess, so Robert inclinations him to do the right thing. From the data given by Straight to the Point, he recovers a streak drive from his mystery locker, containing all the data almost Pushkin's illicit operations. Meanwhile, the police capture Straight to the Point, beside the rest of the staff, and recuperate millions of cash from the distribution center. Robert meets Teddy, and goes up against him by uncovering to know approximately his disturbed past, when he was received by a handful who cherished him a parcel, but he did not pay back and slaughtered them. Robert at that point gives him his number, inquiring him to contact him, on the off chance that he chooses to side with him, and takes off the eatery. Upon turning to his flat, he finds the data from the streak drive, and emails it to the FBI. He moreover finds subtle elements approximately Pushkin's oil tankers, which he afterwards sets on fire, swearing to require him down. After getting orders from Pushkin, Teddy assaults the bazaar, and holds the representatives, counting Ralphie and Jenny, prisoner to extortion Robert. After getting a call from him, Robert eventually arrives at the store, where he salvages Ralphie to begin with, and employments his offer assistance to slaughter them one by one, but gets harmed within the battle. After getting protected by Ralphie, Robert asks him to occupy the folks, whereas he tracks them down. After he sets the fire alert, Teddy finds out around Ralphie, but he shoots him. Shortly after, Robert appears up and murders Teddy with a nail weapon, taking off the store. 3 days afterward, Robert arrives at Pushkin's house in Moscow, to go up against him around his violations. Confessing that he came over to murder him, Robert traps Pushkin into shocking himself, whereas he strolls out of the mansion. A couple of days after returning domestic to Boston, Robert is drawn closer by Elena, who has now recuperated from her wounds, and begun a new life with the money he anonymously cleared out to her. Without knowing the reality, she still much obliged him for persuading her to end it up anything she needs to be. In spite of the fact that fruitful in taking down Pushkin's pack, Robert chooses to proceed utilizing his battling aptitudes, and posts an online promotion as the equalizer, and answers to people's calls for offer assistance online.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please turn on the notifications and click the like button to support the channel. See you in the next video.